Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another sweet ass episode of the Casual Drink and Play podcast. And we have a bit of a theme tonight, and tonight's theme is serial killers. That might be a little choppy, but that's okay. We have myself, Tim, and we have Nicole.
Heyo.
Nicole. And we have a special guest. We have Kirsten.
Hello.
Kirsten, who the hell are you?
I'm your coworker in real life,
Yeah, and a friend.
and a friend, of course.
Yeah.
Concert goer. You know?
Yeah.
Local serial killer specialist.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, that's so funny.
This is gonna get real old real fast.
But before I talk about the wonderful serial killers, we have some
Good
shit to
news.
talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
Starting next week, we are going to try and live stream us playing Resident Evil Village. Comes out on May 7th, so sometime after that, we're gonna start trying to live stream it on YouTube and put like highlights and clips on our like channel.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be a real roller coaster.
Yes. All the spooky, scary stuff.
All the ups and the major downs.
All the puzzles.
We're gonna hit rock bottom, and then we're gonna somehow dig. Start digging.
just keep digging.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
As
Well,
accustomed to ask, what is everybody drinking?
Kirsten, you start.
I am drinking Sailor Jerry's.
Ooh.
I'm a pirate. I'm a rummer.
Nicole?
I have like this mocha coffee thing from Costco. I don't have alcohol in it, because I'm lame, but it's tasty.
That's what matters.
And myself, I'm drinking it's a little bit of Mountain Dew, a little bit of Pepsi, a little bit of Sierra Mist, and some UV cherry vodka.
That is something else, Tim.
Well, whenever I go like those like fountain drinks, I'm like, we're just getting a little bit of everything. Be a real mixologist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was just like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Ooh, maybe just a little splash of this. And then he's like, I'm gonna put vodka in it when we get home. And I was like, okay.
Hell yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
On
All
the
right.
serial killers.
on serial killers. Right. All right. Nicole, you have some questions.
I do have some questions.
For the three of us to discuss.
Yes. So the first one I have is, how did we all get into serial killer / like murder mystery kind of
Like
stuff?
the genre.
Yeah.
Kirsty, you go first. You're the guest.
Oof. I'm so glad I wrote this down. I was trying to prep so well for this because I'm like, you guys are like super low key in your podcast, and then I'm like, but what if they decide to like, so what happened in 1972 in October? And I'm like, I better kind of prep for this. Gosh, how did I get into it? Well, growing up as a kid, I was super into like horror films, murder mystery shows. You can basically blame my mom for that. And then I literally just like, as I grew older, got more invested and took more time. And I just got sucked into the dark, deep hole of serial killers.
Lovely.
Nice.
It's pretty. It's pretty in the hole.
Oh, I know. I'm there too. I never really got into like horror movies, just bouncing off what you were talking about. But I was always like interested in like lore and background when it came to like video games and like books and such. And so like when I started watching like a lot more like documentaries about serial killers, it was always like I was so intrigued by like the background and like everything that had happened. And I think it's just because like I like knowing like the story and the background of everything. And like serial killers just have like this dark, twisted like sense to it. And it's always interesting to see like where families, like how they were like raised.
Well, I mean, I do have a killer that we're gonna talk about. Because I felt like I was like, like doing research for this podcast that I only did earlier today. I was like, okay, I want to pick so and so because this person ignited so many like classic like horror movies in a sense. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, because like real life serial killers like inspired killers
A handful
and,
of stuff, yeah.
like from horror movies and everything.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From copycats to people like writing books and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But how did I get into it? I don't know. It's just like this into like the serial killer horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like just popped in my life,
To be honest, I think you're like, just from knowing you, I think yours started from like Jason and Michael Myers.
Well, yeah, because the first like horror movie I remember watching as a kid, like a legit, not like Halloween Town, but like a full on like horror movie was Freddy vs. Jason. I was like, oh, this is some heavy stuff, mommy. I don't know if I'm allowed to watch this. But then like she introduced me to like Halloween, Scream, Psycho, all that other stuff. And
Classics.
I think and then she's like, yeah, and then people actually kill each other. I'm like, people can't kill each other, it's illegal.
That doesn't happen.
And then as I grow older, I'm like, oh god, people like as a kid, I'm like, oh, there's people dying every day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah, so that's how I got the whole like genre of it. I could go on and on about that, but I'm gonna try to keep it narrowed down just to serial killers. All right. So Nicole, we'll start with you. What's your favorite serial killer and why?
I think mine's Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, that shit's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's from around here. He was, like, from Wisconsin, wasn't he? If I remember correctly.
Kirsten, I'm assuming you're, like, the fact... You're be the serial killer fact checker.
If I remember correctly, he was, like... He was, like, around... He was, like, in the Midwest. If I remember correctly. I know his grandmother was in Wisconsin.
I think he was I think it was, like, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was born in Milwaukee. Yep.
Yeah. So, like...
There we go.
Just, like, everything that he did, it was just, like, so fucked up, but it was, like, so intriguing. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie My Friend Dahmer.
I have not.
I would recommend it. I liked it, and, like... But it's also kind of really fucked up, because, like, it goes into detail, like, how everything started. And it doesn't really go into, like, the killing of it, but it goes through, like, his traumatic childhood and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go take some bones into the backyard and dissolve them in acid. And it's like, if you see your kid doing that, like, you gotta stop.
You go back, you know what? My kid ain't right.
But I guess it's just because, like, he was, like, the closest in, like, vicinity, I guess, to us. And it was just, like, it's fucked up.
It is.
But I think Jeffrey Dahmer's mine.
Absolutely.
All right, Kirsten. Favorite serial serial killer and why?
That is honestly really hard because for my research for tonight, I actually like literally went through like, the top main like serial killers that like everyone's heard of, Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, Dennis Rader, and because of Bailey, I've actually learned a lot more of different serial killers that just haven't made the news, like, our top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have to say probably Dennis Rader. He's also known as the Btk Killer. If anyone's ever heard of him. Oh, well. So he was labeled as the Btk Killer. He was known in Kansas. BTK stood for bind, torture, and kill. And a lot of it was crazy because he legit had like a family life. And then he had his murderous serial killing life. Mm-hmm. So he was living a split life. And between, actually, part of my notes, between 1974 and 1991, he killed 10 victims,
Oof.
and the way he killed them was literally bind, torture, and kill. And the fact that he lived a perfectly normal, quote, quote, normal life,
Mm-hmm.
and then had this darkness about him outside of that was just, to me, the psychology is just amazing.
Was
So,
he the one that
Dennis
had,
Rader.
like, was he the one that had like a whole shed dedicated to it?
So there was, I don't know if you guys, I'm super up to date on, there was actually a movie with Dylan McDermott just released, if I know correctly, and they kind of based that movie off of Dennis Rader.
Okay.
And in that movie, they did have a shed that had photos and the equipment and that he used for his murders. So,
Okay.
yes.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Very.
Because it reminds
What
me
about you?
of... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because it just reminds me of one of the serial killers that I don't remember his name, but he, like, in a sense, had, like, a shed, and he would, like, videotape him, like, torturing...
I was thinking of that person, too.
And, like... he would, like, basically... He would, like, make, his, in a sense, his own sex toys, and, like, would basically, like, in a sense, bind down, like, prostitutes and stuff, and, like, would record him, like, torturing them. And that's why I was like, I think that might be the same guy, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think it was the first Bailey Sarian video like you showed me.
Yeah, it was really fucked up.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, Tim.
Fuck, that's a good one, yeah. Okay. Well, so, the one that I guess stands out to me when it comes to serial killer is Ed Gein.
Oh,
And so the part that's, I find him, like, interesting is that, like... Oh, God.
The nipple belt?
Yes. The nipple belt. He would also have a vest. He was essentially trying to be like a woman in a sense. Like he would like take women, like cut up their chest and like wear their tits and whatnot. It's like a vest in a sense. But
It's a vest.
but this guy, I mean, this dude's also from Wisconsin, Plainfield, Wisconsin.
You know what? I think people from Wisconsin are just fucked up.
Fucking cheeseheads.
Like at this point, just two of the serial killers that we've talked about at least are from Wisconsin.
Yeah, man. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
Yeah.
You got nothing to do. No, but with Ed Gein, like a lot, like his story spinned off Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Silence of the Lambs.
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I could go more on about it, but we have more questions. We want like I'll save that stuff for later. Ed Gein was a person I was like, because I was at like the gym today and like driving around listening to like podcasts about him.
Research.
Hell yeah. It was kind of hard lifting weights and like focusing while hearing that he would like do with like bones and shit and make like lampshades. I'm like,
Yes.
you know what? I'm just gonna put on some music. I'll get back to this later.
Oh yeah. Pump that muscle. Nipple belt. Oh yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's my favorite thing about it.
Grave robbing.
It's literally my favorite thing about Ed Gein is the nipple belt.
Yeah.
Oh god, I died when I saw Bailey's video of that. I was just like, oh my god. And she's just like, how does it even work?
Right? You're like,
I'm just like,
what?
Well, I mean, you just
Like,
cut
oh,
around
God.
the areola and just like staple it to a belt. I mean, I've never seen the design.
So basically he like took the nipples and like turned them into leather
Right, yeah.
and then made the belt.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't just like, I'm just gonna staple
I'm
it
thinking
on.
how I would do it.
Yeah.
quite a fashion piece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out in the fall 2021 collection.
Nipple belt. Oh, Lord.
Oh, we are so messed up.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it's, you know,
It's a serial killer podcast.
it's a topic.
Why not?
All right. Nicole,
So-
you got the next question.
What is our favorite documentaries based off of serial killers? I'm saying specifically documentaries, not movies.
Can I not go first?
No, you're good.
Someone else Someone else needs to go first. I gotta think
I'll
about
go
this
first.
one.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, the only one I could really think of at the moment is, well, you and I, Nicole, we watched a Rich Ramirez
That was mine,
Night Stalker on Netflix.
Yes.
How it was just it was like like mid to early '80s. He was around LA, just like just killing people. And then, yeah, I mean that was a fun documentary to watch. Well, because I didn't watch a whole lot of documentaries. Like it was either like I would listen like I guess like just like watch YouTube videos or just like watch movies about them. Like I watched a little bit of the Ted Bundy tapes on Netflix.
Those are so hard to get through.
I had a really big problem trying to watch them. I was super excited for them, and then I'm just like, this is not
Because it's
what
so
I
slow.
expected. Yeah.
Excuse me. But oh fuck, what's the other guy from Wisconsin? With Brendan Dassey and Making a Murder. That would count, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That
I watched
was-
like the first season, a little bit of the second season.
That was in Manawak.
Yeah, Man of Walk.
County, not the town.
Yeah, I don't trust it.
Manawak County. My friend's parents live in the town, and when me and him were still like, I think we weren't dating yet. I told you I was in Manawak, and you were like,
I was like,
that's where they
'Cause, okay,
frame somebody.
I mean,
and I was like, whoa.
Side note, part of me thinks that, I mean, I could be wrong. It's just my personal opinion. I do think in a sense that whatever his name is, the uncle and Brendan Dassey, I think they were set up by local law enforcement. Ah, fuck, I can't remember the guy's name. You know, like white hair, kind of chubby. Can you guys picture him?
Are you talking the main guy?
Yeah, from Making a Murder, the main dude.
I don't remember.
Let me pull up my internet real quick. His name was Stephen Avery.
Stephen Avery, thank you. Yeah, I do feel like in a sense it like was set up because Stephen Avery like he just pissed off a bunch of people and some people knew like people in law enforcement. So like we're just gonna do X, Y, and Z and blah blah blah, and then boom, they're in jail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's a good documentary. I highly recommend it if anyone hasn't watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when that documentary first came out, and literally like everybody was watching.
Oh yeah, I mean like I don't think I watched it when it was popular. I was like, it seems whatever. It wasn't until like sometime later. I was like, okay, I'll sit down and give it a watch.
Yeah. I really
And
did
I hopped
like...
on that train.
Oh, yeah.
I hopped on it. As soon as it was released, I was like,
Oh,
all right,
hell
I'm
yeah.
watching it. Let's go.
I don't think I made it through... I think I watched like 2 episodes of it. I just couldn't do it. It was a little slow for me. I guess like documentaries are a little bit slower for me. But I did like the Night Stalker one that Netflix did.
Right.
Just because I liked how one of the times where he broke into a house, Richard Ramirez like shot the guy. And like he came back to like get at him, and like the way the cop was freaking describing it, he's like, "Shit, I'd be terrified if I shot someone and they came back at me." And I loved the commentary from like the cops that were working the cases, and just like everybody's still like alive in a sense who is like working it, so it's like really cool to see it now. So.
And they also gave you like a lot of information, but they kept it fast paced.
Yeah.
Like I blew through those. I think it was like 6 episodes
That sounds
in
right.
literally like one day.
Nice.
Like I have a little bit of an obsession, just a little bit.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you're good.
But
You're
yeah, no, that was definitely a good one too.
I will say they did skip the part that he went to what hotel
The
is
Cecil?
it? The Cecil Hotel.
Oh,
The fact that they didn't talk about how he was there kind of made me a little upset. But then when I watched like the documentary about Elisa Lam and everything, and they were like talking about him being at the Cecil Hotel, and it's like, oh, it's like it's haunted and blah blah blah, and like dark spirits and dark energies, and I'm just like, all right, well, he was there, so.
so wasn't that the same hotel that they were kind of basing the American Horror Story season off of?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Like, that's what I assumed.
Mm-hmm. Just because,
But
like, that's, like,
wanted to double check.
it's, like, one of the most haunted hotels. In a sense, like, quote-unquote
Mhm.
haunted. Just because, like, of everything that's happened there. Like, people committing suicide, murderers hiding out, and...
Loads of bad vibes.
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna... So, Kirsten.
Sorry, I was about. I had an Amazon delivery person walking up to my door, and I didn't even know if he was going to ring the doorbell, so I muted myself.
Oh, there you
you're
go.
good.
My bad.
All good.
Okay.
So, what's your favorite documentary?
Well, I'm going to cheat, and I'm not going to just pick one.
Okay. That's fine.
Because I am who I am. So I definitely got into the... So there's the... I don't like him himself, Piers Morgan. Or Piers Morgan.
Okay.
Oh, the English, yeah.
But, yes. But he actually had a series that came out a couple years ago on Netflix that was called Serial Killer. And he went in and interviewed people that were in prison, and I want to say they were all like life or on death row.
Mm-hmm.
And he interviewed all of them, and each episode was like an hour long. And so I got a lot of information from a lot of people about a lot of people in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool, just because I love seeing the different, like, how people differ.
Mm-hmm.
There was also another documentary called The Confession Killer, and his name was Henry Lee Lucas. And I didn't even hear about him up until I think this past year when his documentary came out on Netflix again. Thank you, Netflix. And this guy like admitted to like 300 killings, like some crazy number. And I watched the whole thing, and I've watched it, I think, probably a total of 3 times, because I can't quite wrap my head around the fact that he was either so ridiculously crazy, or he knew exactly how to play the police and the detectives in his favor to keep him from going from death row. And it's just, like... It is slow, so if you're more of the Night Stalker compared to this one, you probably won't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed that, and that was very fascinating to me. So yeah, there's that.
Interesting. Okay. And what was it called?
The Confession Killer.
The Confession Killer. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe one night when you guys are feeling really bored, check it out.
Oh yeah.
If you don't like it, I won't take offense. I will literally watch like my For You on my Netflix is like literally all serial killer documentaries. So, and I'm just
Hell
like,
yeah.
all right, next series,
Let's go.
keep them coming. Yep.
Hell yeah. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, going back to that killer though, was he the one that like a cop befriended him, and then like the cop kind of like fed him all of the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just confirming
was,
that was the same one.
Yeah, it was. Long story short, because, well, I'm going to try to actually keep a long story short. I have a tendency of not keeping a long story short. Long story short, he got arrested. They're like, oh, are you familiar with any of these? Well, he just started confessing. The Texas Rangers, I forgot what time this was. I almost want to say it was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong. Texas Rangers was like a legit law enforcement group, and they took a major hit during these cases and this documentary, because they were feeding him all the information he needed to know to admit to the crimes. I'm not saying he's innocent, but they were giving him pictures and showing them what the bodies looked like, and then they're like, okay, well, now take us there. And, like, he would know exactly where to go, because the detectives and the Rangers were giving him every piece of information he needed. So he just it was like a downward spiral. He just kept going and going, and it was just mind-blowing.
Nice. When you said Texas Rangers, I thought it was the sports team. I think it's not the hockey team. It's a sports team. I'm like, they're doing the sports team, like throwing like Sherlock Holmes like detective hats and like a pipe. And be like, "Gotta solve these murders."
It was in the 1980s.
Okay, there we
According to
go.
Google.
According to Google. I looked it up to confirm the dates.
Google is my best friend.
Oh, yes. But yeah,
Very nice.
that was the same one I was thinking of.
Very nice. Okay. So next question, Kirsten, is who do you think is the most overrated killer? We'll give you a minute. I mean, if you need a minute or if you know it already. Wait. Do you have an idea?
No. I have like a few people in mind, but you guys can go first. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll go first.
After you, my lady.
I think it's Manson.
I think it's Manson.
Yeah. Like, I guess in a sense it's like the.
But he didn't kill people. He didn't kill anyone himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's the one that's most overrated because he never actually killed anybody. It was his quote unquote family members
cult.
in his cult. Yeah.
That's true.
So like, I don't
Technically. At least the ones he's known for.
Yeah.
Oh, Sharon Tate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's one of the most overrated killers. Like, yeah, sure, he did bad things and like, killing is wrong, but it wasn't him that physically killed them for what like he's known for in a sense.
I just like the fact the way it's just he manipulated a bunch of like teenagers, like runaways in a sense.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm not saying he's not like a bad man and he's not like in a sense one of the most popular ones. I just think he's a little overrated.
Okay.
I agree.
The one that comes to mind basically because John Wayne Gacy.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just he just seems like he seems too generic.
Yeah. But when you say John Wayne Gacy, people know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I mean,
My little side note, I went to school with a girl whose aunt married him.
nice.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I think it was like, because I know he was married when he was arrested and stuff like that. She wasn't married to him at that point, but she was, I think, like his first wife. And every time she said that or told me about him, I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, it's not good.
When I was in high school, I took criminal law my senior year, and my teacher, he worked at the Joliet prison where Gacy was at. Mm-hmm. So he got to see him. Yeah, I mean, he only got to see him, like when he was in prison. But hey, man, you get to see him in person. That's something.
It's also kind of scary, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because, like, depending on how old you are when you're in those prisons and you're with those people, you're like, I've heard about you. Like, I was raised knowing about you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kirsten, who do you think is, like, overrated?
People might want to slap me in the face for this.
All right.
It's okay.
I'll be ready.
All right, so I'm not specifically talking about just only his crimes, but I'd almost have to say Ted Bundy.
I had a feeling you were going to say Ted Bundy.
And I understand, like, I'm not saying, I don't even know how to put into words what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, Zac Efron.
I just rewatched that again.
Hey, that's
rewatched that.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I do too. I do too.
That movie, watching it the first time, had me convinced that Ted Bundy did nothing. Did you guys
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Because I was like, did he really do these murders? I was sitting there watching, I'm like, did he really do it? I mean, he seems fine, but I'm like, wait, no, he's fucking convicted. And then at the end when he writes like hacksaw, like on the glass, I'm like, ooh.
You're like, yeah, maybe.
I can kind of see how you think he's overrated.
But I think it's also, what he did was horrible. And I think he was one of the first, if not the first, killer to get the name serial killer. If my research is correct, like he was like the first person to be known as a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is I love that's why I like Bailey so much and listening to her
Mm-hmm.
is because she brings up cases and murderers that no one's heard of, or if you
Mhm.
have heard of them, you've heard of snippets.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Bundy, I mean, my mom was alive when my mom was growing up when Ted Bundy was a thing was happening. His murderers were
Mhm.
happening. His murders were happening.
Right.
And so I, grew up knowing about Ted Bundy, and then everyone, oh, he was so handsome and he was so sophisticated. Now, I never understood why everyone thought he was so handsome, because, sorry, to me, he looked like a mole rat.
Yes, because he's not really that like. Because I have a picture of him on my phone. I'm like he seems handsome, but not like, oh my god, like head over heels.
I can see.
Like, people were, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, I can see, like, he's not ugly.
Mm-hmm.
He's, like, if anything, a little bit above average and good looking. Like, you know how there's, like, an average person, he's just, like, one step above it. But not something that you could be like, oh my god, Ted Bundy, swoon, kind of shit. Like,
Yeah, like, people were like, and my mom will be like, oh, well, he was attractive for his time, which I totally get.
mhm.
Yeah.
But, like, he would not have been able to get me into his car.
No.
No.
Like, I'm just saying. So why I think he's overrated, he's a very, very smart man. He was very clever.
Mhm.
I think a lot of it is maybe what makes him overrated is because he became so popular
Mm-hmm.
that he's just like, it's like, okay, yeah, Ted Bundy. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's just
I don't know.
like I said now.
Very charismatic.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's pretty much how I would say it. Like, he was, I'm trying to word my sentencing correctly.
Very good.
He was the serial killer for sure.
Mhm.
But I think his popularity really exploded in negative ways,
Mhm.
I guess. So yeah. Long story short, not short.
Very good.
No, you're good.
I love it.
I guess I just dislike that, like, serial killers, like, in a sense, have, like, a following and, like, groupies. Because it's like Ted Bundy had him and then Manson had him. And it's just like, come on.
Well, I mean, like,
I get it, they're charismatic.
I think it's not only that. It's just if anyone gets brought into like the spotlight, the fame, there's gonna be a small fan group. You know, like I'm sure more than 100 people. Like these people probably got more than 100 letters while they were incarcerated. Like, oh my god, I love you. You're so attractive. Can you send me a lock of your hair? Blah blah blah.
So creepy.
It is. But
Well, it's also all those people that, like, all the serial killers, or like, yeah, no, we'll just stick to serial killers. All the ones that, like, get married after they've been in jail.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
Like, Manson, just a couple years ago, her Instagram, actually, I follow a lot of tattoo artists, and a lot of the tattoo artists, for some reason, all, like, love Charles Manson.
Of course.
And even though, like, I was just reading and watching this, like, super small, like, video documentary, kind of behind the scenes details about him. And he was apparently connected to actually killing someone. I can't remember the names off the top of my head.
Oh, damn.
But no, he was not actually physically there when Sharon Tate and everyone, the known murders happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tattoo artists, like, all loved him, and they kept posting about him and blah, blah, blah. Well, all their pages were getting shut down, and they're like, free Charles Manson, he's innocent. And I'm just like, okay, just because you're not actually there doesn't mean you're, like, clear of the consequences. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's something else.
That's intense.
I will say, there was a movie that Tim and I watched,
Once
Upon a
Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did not realize it was a Manson movie.
Kirsten, did you ever see that movie? It's by Quentin Tarantino with
I've probably watched it about 7 times.
Okay.
I'm very aware.
I didn't watch like any trailers for it. I just knew that like Leo was in it and
Brad Pitt.
I only knew that and that they were like movie stars or whatnot. I did not realize it was going to be somewhat based around Manson.
Well, yeah, because
until we got into it.
Yeah, because when I saw
like,
the trailer, it showed people like like it was like the was it? It's like a silhouette of like a shape of a person because it showed those three people walking on the street at night, and you see him pull out a knife. I'm like, oh, well, it's a Tarantino movie, so it's about to get interesting. And then while I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, because eventually you figure out like, oh, that's Charles Manson, the Manson family. But I do like how that movie like ended where the killers went to like Brad Pitt's house instead of Sharon Tate's.
We went to Leo's house.
Leo's house, yes, sorry. Yeah, went to Leo's house.
Little plot twist.
Yeah.
And they pretty much like killed him or got him arrested, and then like Sharon Tate was alive.
Yeah. I was like, whew.
Yeah.
Because I remember when that came out, it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Margot Robbie's Sharon Tate. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, why is this Sharon Tate so big? I had no idea.
Yeah, that was quite the plot twist, because my mom's a serial killer fan herself. I knew all about Tate since I've been a little baby, so seeing that plot twist at the end of that movie was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't watched that movie. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know anything about it going in. I just knew that the two actors were in it, and that was it. And I was like, oh yeah, this will be fun. Thinking like, oh, it's just like...
It's another movie.
Didn't even know Quentin Tarantino was the director for it. I knew nothing going into this movie.
Oof.
But it's kind of nice though, because when you watch a movie like that, because it's fresh, but those plot twists and turns, it catches you off guard.
Yeah, I think going into a movie blind is probably the best way to do it.
That's how I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to do that.
It can definitely
lately.
be fun.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I watched that movie with a friend of mine, and he had never seen it, but he loved Quentin Tarantino movies. And I'm like, how have you not seen this movie? Like, this movie, like, blew up. Everyone wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And we're, like, going through the movie, and, like, I had already seen it, and I kept looking at him to see if he, like, was recognizing what was going on. And he's just like, who's Margot Robbie playing? I was like, Sharon Tate. He's like, who's Sharon Tate? And I was just like, oh, my God. And I just was like, okay, so this is how this is going to go.
At that moment,
I was like, and he's like, and he's like, who's that guy with the long dark hair? I'm like, Charles Manson. I'm like, you don't know what's happening.
Who?
And I was just like, and I just sat there, and I was just like, I'm just gonna let this unravel and let's see where this goes. Oh, I enjoyed that movie though, for sure, and I love Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah. Doesn't he only date to like women that are only like 23 or something?
See,
Yeah, probably.
I love my LGBTQ family. I love them. My mom and I, so my little brother loves Leonardo, right? And Leo, he has a tendency of dating very young women. Like currently his girlfriend's mom, he's actually older than his girlfriend's mom.
Okay.
Wow.
So, I'm just like, oh, maybe he's just hiding his true identity. That's why he keeps dating these young women. It's something else. But,
yeah.
I'm looking at how old his girlfriend is.
I think she's like 25.
Age. There we go. She is currently 23.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Well, she's got until her 24th birthday. She better live it up.
These are final days.
Her time is numbered.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
All right, well, we got an ad read real quick. All right, hold on. I gotta get the button. Okay. I'm gonna try to one shot this. Okay.
If you don't do it, we'll just do it again and I'll cut it in.
Let's cut it in. Okay. All right.
Editing.
Okay. All right. No, we don't want to do editing.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna keep all this in. All right.
All of our shit talk.
3, 2, 1. This episode is sponsored by Sawyer's Barbecue. Sawyer's Barbecue, the best meat in Texas, made locally. Okay, you carry on.
Sorry. I was expecting way more than that, and when you just stopped, I was like, can I breathe yet?
Very good.
Good times.
It's actually not our sponsor.
Yeah, it's a fake ad.
Our sponsor's actually Anchor.
Yeah, we only like one, like I guess, like real sponsor. But the Sawyer's Barbecue is, you know, this is the Sawyer family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sawyer's Barbecue, the best meat in Texas.
I didn't even catch that. Man, that's depressing.
The secret ingredient is you.
God.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
And we've taken a turn for the dark.
And we just keep digging.
We appear at
Well,
some
like
point.
Tim said, just digging deeper and deeper.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, we're gonna be like falling into the fucking devil and like doing lap dances.
Yeah. At least they got a pole down there. It's like the express train.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen that music video? Do you know what we're talking about?
Oh, yes. The one that everyone lost their minds to.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
I've actually never seen the video.
Okay.
So, there's one. I've seen clips of it. I've not seen the entirety of it. But, people have been making music videos close to that, if not worse. Like, I think Madonna did one.
Oh, Lord.
And someone, you know, just up in their time, you know, their age range of that also did one. So it's like nothing's new. I don't know where people are all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, that's inappropriate. It's like, what?
Yeah, so you just think like people are overreacting in a sense.
Yeah, I don't like if the music's good, awesome. Like I don't care what you do in your music videos. I don't care. Like if I enjoy the music, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
If people want to get their panties in a bunch because some guy's sliding into hell on a dance pole, fine.
And then giving
You
the devil
have-
a lap dance.
I'm gonna get my singles real
Yeah,
quick.
exactly. He's making more money than you are, so I understand why you're jealous.
Funny enough, Lil Nas X, he posted on the internet today that he went for his his driver's test and he failed.
Oh no.
He's like, I'm 22 and I finally did my driver exam or something, and then it's like cuts and it's like I failed.
I failed. I'm like, oh, he's just like the rest of us.
How do you like? Okay, I've never failed a driver's test.
I failed my
You guys?
first test.
Oh really?
I failed it, yeah.
Oh shit. Maybe it's a guy thing.
Well, it's a local DMV, and I thought the instructor was really bitchy. And she's like, I'm like, shut up, Adolf.
Oh.
So then, about like a week later, we were told to go to Libertyville. I'm like, okay. So my dad took me to Libertyville, and this chick was so cool, so laid back. Everyone there was so nice. And she was like, you did a couple weird things, but yeah, here's your license. I'm like, oh.
You're fine.
Oh my god. That like you and I had very different experiences, because like I went to mine, and like I got like this chill dude that looked kind of like Justin Timberlake. And I was just like, oh man, there's a slightly attractive man in my car. Don't freak out, Nicole. Don't freak out.
I start sweating. Oh, God.
Oh god, oh god, oh god.
It's getting hot in here.
But he was like so chill. He was like, yeah, just go around the block. And then and he's like, okay, park over here. And I was like, okay. And he's like, all right, let's go back. You got your license. And I was like, yes.
That's pretty much how mine went too. Like super chill. My biggest concern was to parallel park because I live in the country and I don't have to learn to parallel park. And if you invite me anywhere that I have to parallel park, I won't go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was at Amazon, in the, I think it was like the first, no, it was, because, so day one of training was all computer remote stuff at home. Day two was like, we're in a van driving around like a fucking course. And at the end, we had to do a parallel park, and it took me a couple minutes. Thank God there's backup cameras.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like,
yes.
you didn't do it right, but you don't really parallel park that much around here, so you'll be fine. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I remember, I think it was like our third date when we went to the comedy club.
Yeah, the
We were-
improv.
At Schauberg?
No, it was in
Logan Square, Chicago.
yeah, Logan Square, Chicago.
Oof, parallel parking.
Tim was like going around the block trying to find a parking spot, but there was like only parallel parking ones, and I was like, do you want me to park the car? Because I know how to parallel park. And
Teach
so,
me your ways.
so I got into the car, I went around the block, and then I found a spot that I could just pull into.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Like the person had left, and it was like perfect timing, and I was like, oh, don't mind me.
Yeah.
Just gotta squeeze wider.
I mean,
Scoot on in.
a while back when I was in New Orleans, me and my friend Haley, we were highly recommended to check out this. It's like a fancy, like barn restaurant and like marble counter. You know, like it was fancy as shit. But it was in downtown New Orleans, and like I got to the restaurant, but I was like, I can't parallel park, and she's like, I got you, and did it in like one try. I was like, what the fuck? She's like, it's all about the camera work, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Witchcraft.
Oh Lord.
I could probably do it, but like anytime I've ever had to parallel park has been like in the city on like a main street, and I'm like, all these cars are zooming past me, and I think of the song "Be Aggressive, Be Aggressive," and I'm just like, they're gonna take the side of my car off if I try to parallel park.
Whenever we go to bingo, whenever they say B11, I literally will go, be aggressive, be aggressive. I have no idea why.
Just something.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You know what? Going back to serial killers.
Yeah, we went off
Yeah, we
track.
kind of trailed off a little bit.
It's
but
okay.
That's all right.
That's the podcast.
We're reeling it back
Welcome
in.
back, everybody. Oh, I guess if you're a listener and made it this far, thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you for listening. Feel free to, follow all of us on the social medias.
Like, subscribe.
Hell yeah, smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Break my desk.
But, anyways, if there is a killer you could meet in person, who would it be?
None of them.
None of them? No, I mean, okay.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
like,
kidding.
I'm saying, like, they're in prison and you're given, like, let's say 15 minutes at most. You sit down with them, you have a chit chat. It could be anyone in history.
I can't fucking remember her name.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm already picking up what you're thinking. But maybe not.
I know her as like the Belladonna killer.
Julia Tafana.
Yes.
The fuck's
Girl,
that?
I did my research today because I'm like, maybe they haven't heard of her. So I
Oh
wrote,
my God,
I
you
literally
are
have
right.
half a page of information.
You are so right, Kirsten.
So basically, she like didn't she like make makeup in a sense, and then she would like, it was like, it's like Belladonna or something else. It was called Aqua Tofana,
Yes.
and like in a sense, Aqua Tofana. She would like give it to women who wanted to get out of their marriage, and they would like put the Aqua Tofana into like their husband's soup and stuff, and they would like slowly kill them of like natural causes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And-
So yes.
I would love to
Like,
meet
I
her.
literally have half a page of research on my paper right here in front of me because I'm like, maybe they haven't heard of her, but now that I know you guys are both Bailey Sarian listeners,
I am mainly.
but yeah, yes. So, real quick side note for the listeners: 17th century Italy. She had a 50-year run of poisoning people's husbands.
She's from the 17th century?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it
Oh,
was
I
during
thought-
the Renaissance.
I thought this was like at least like 60, like past 60 years.
Yeah.
Okay, she's
And you know
old.
what's crazy is there's actually like no research that she officially existed other than like people finding journals with her name in them. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like, okay, so her poisoning is arsenic, lead, and belladonna.
Mhm.
Belladonna people actually still use now, which is kind of crazy to me. Back in the 17th century, people would use belladonna and put drops in their eyes because it made their pupils dilated. Well, apparently that was like the thing to do back then. So belladonna being in your makeup routine was a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And yeah, her mom ended up being executed for killing her husband. And then Julia grew up with what we consider kind of now like pharmacists and was learning like, oh, if you combine this and this, it makes this and this happens. So,
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she like made a concoction and pretty much just sold it.
yep.
And it was like you had to know somebody to get it. It wasn't like, you know, she would like sell it to people on the street. It was like she had clients and then clients would refer other people and it went through like a whole grapevine. You had to have a connection.
Yeah, and she would like interview them. She would like, so what is he doing to you?
Yeah.
Or why do you want to get out of this marriage? Like it wasn't like, oh, buying like CoverGirl mascara off the shelf. It was like, no, you had to know someone who knew someone who knew someone.
Like she did her research on it. That's why for like, what was it? It was like almost 50 years she didn't get caught.
Damn.
Yep.
So
And it was like 4 to 6 drops would kill a man.
yeah.
And she ends up confessing to like quote killing 600 men.
That's
like crazy.
So wild.
Interesting.
I would love to like talk to her.
Because she was like a vigilante. If you think about like if these women were legitly trying to leave their marriages because their husbands, because like back then there was no divorcing.
Yeah.
Right.
And you could quote leave your husband, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and like being a woman back in that day, you were literally just you weren't anything. So if you were a divorced woman, you were literally lower.
Right.
So, but if you were widowed, you still got like you would get compensation and money and everything from your husband that passed away.
Mm.
And so that was like the easier way to do it, in a sense.
Yep. Crazy. Just crazy. What about you, Timmy?
You know, I think I asked the really good questions.
He's like, he's got a list of serial killers on his phone and he's trying to figure out which one.
Yeah, I was like, because there's... You know what? I guess it would be Ted Bundy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to learn his ways?
Yeah, it's like, dude, how do you get the girls?
How do you feel about that, Nicole?
Well, you know, I would be like the girlfriend that he wants to marry and everything, and be like, I did all of this for you, type of situation. Then I'll be like, oh
tear
shit,
me apart, Theodore.
and I'll just be like, oh shit, he murdered some people. Awkward.
I don't know. I just think because he was smart, charismatic. You know, he just did it. It's like how? I can't even get a text back.
Bitch, I'm right here.
Well, no, I mean this is a while ago. This is way back.
Kristen's like seeing like she's like, oh god, they have some rifts in their relationship.
Like, all right, gotta keep an eye on him at work.
All right, Kirsten, how about you?
Well, I made a little bit of a list of just like known people, but I've never seen the Charlize Theron movie of her, but Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah, I literally have her pulled up on my list right now from Monster.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen Monster. I really want to. I don't know why.
I've only seen like bits and pieces.
I saw Eileen Wuornos. I actually saw a documentary of her. It was interviews of her and all that stuff, just like, you know, maybe 2 years ago or so. And her, like, so a lot of serial killers obviously they seem to all have the same theme, like horrible childhood, abusive childhoods, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Eileen's was probably one of the worst cases of childhood trauma that I've ever, like, researched or heard about. And I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, so that also doesn't help. So, like, she grew up very traumatized. She was, like, raped, abused. She was doing drugs at, like, the age of 10. Her dad was in jail and, like, died before she was I want to say before she was born. So there's those daddy issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
And her determinedness, I don't even know the word.
Determination.
She was so determined. Yes. She was so determined to prove that all of her quote quote killings were in self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she was charged and imprisoned, she went on this huge conspiracy theorist like, oh, the government's listening to me and they're tracking me and that's how they found me, and it was all self-defense, but I'm here. And she was proven to be insane, but then she's like, she somehow got the courts to say, well, no, she's not insane, she can stand for trial. And just the way her mind, like, she wasn't, nothing against her, but she wasn't clever. She wasn't like Ted Bundy, where Ted Bundy, like, he lived a normal life, he ran politics, he went to law school. No, Eileen was like white trash, like poor, trying to survive, like the whole shebang. And I think she was like the first woman executed in like so many years. And just the way her mind works, she was crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, the government is probably watching us, and the government is probably tracking us. And it's just like, this documentary almost made me think, like, maybe she's onto something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
So
really
probably
think about it, your cell phone is basically a tracking device.
Oh, yeah, for
So,
sure. Definitely.
She is right in that case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hell
Government
yeah.
knows. I did think of another one that I would like to meet. Jack the Ripper.
Oh,
A classic.
Yeah. It's
classic.
like a classic killer. He was never caught.
Mm.
I feel like at that point, I just want to know who he is.
Well, he's Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, but like, there's so many theories on who Jack the Ripper actually is. So it's like, I want to know who he is.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
But
I'm like a huge like the unknown, like, oh, it was never captured or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The Zodiac Killer.
Oh my god.
Like, that's a whole nother.
Because his whole experience there at Ted Cruz is a Zodiac Killer.
I love that theory.
But like the Zodiac Killer, oh my goodness, like
Oh
that's
my
a
God.
whole can of worms.
I watched the movie on that.
With Robert Downey Jr.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Mark Ruffalo.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. I watched that movie. I can't even tell you. How many
I
times.
haven't- I
I'm
haven't
just like,
seen
I
it.
don't understand.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah, I haven't seen Zodiac
Okay,
Killer.
you need to leave this podcast. This is now Nicole and Kirsten podcast.
Well, we are gonna end the podcast soon. But I do have a question for you, because you are into conspiracy theories, and I don't know what you've listened of our podcast or not, for preparation of this, but I do have one conspiracy theory that I like to bring up every once in a while.
So fucking stupid.
Tim hates this theory. So we have JFK, lovely, beautiful man. The theory is that there was so much pressure in his head that his head actually exploded and nobody shot him.
I've never heard that one.
So literally the theory is his head just did that. Nobody shot him.
Huh.
Think about that. It's like the most ridiculous theory. It was like my second year at NIU. One of the guys got drunk and he was like, oh my god.
It's random.
Oh, sorry. The crowd didn't like it. Shut up,
Oh my
everybody.
God.
Shut up.
You
Shut
picked
up.
the wrong one. But it was like, he was drunk and he was like, I got this conspiracy theory for you guys. And we were like, okay, you're drunk, but let's tell it to us. And he basically was like, JFK, his head, he just did that. There was so much pressure in his head that it just exploded. Nobody shot him, just did that. And it's always stuck with me.
Interesting. I think
Tim's like,
there's one theory. It's the Dietz theory.
the Dietz theory? Oh my god.
These nuts.
I'm just waiting for Kirsten to leave the chat at this point. She's just like, oh my god.
Kirsten, are you
Kirsten?
there?
Hello?
Oh, I think she did leave.
I think she might have walked out.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
That was so strange.
It was kind of funny because it was just like we said the theory, and then it just went quiet, and I was just like, oh no, did she leave the chat?
I think the
The
government's
government's listening. No,
They know.
I was like talking, and then like next thing I know, I like either said or asked a question or said something, and it was just like dead air. I was like, and because I don't know how to use this, I was like, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I was like, wait, this one's
And it was
silent.
like dead silence, and I was like, damn, did I like bore you to sleep or something?
That's why we texted you. We're like, you good?
It like just went dead, and it said I was still connected to the
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was so weird.
the channel. I was just like, okay, government, thank you.
Thanks, government.
If this doesn't prove my theory that the government is out for us,
Nothing else.
we're
will.
talking about some stuff.
Wait, what was your question?
Yeah.
Well, I got very stressed out trying to figure out how to reconnect to this, so I think I might have lost my question.
Oh.
I think it kind of poofed.
Well, we were talking about JFK's head just doing that, so.
Body's strange and usual, can do many different things.
Yeah.
I don't like the Kennedys, so I mean that theory like totally throws me off. If you would have been like, "Oh, it wasn't really the guy who said he killed him," I could have like flown with that. But the fact that like his brain literally exploded. that threw me off.
It throws a lot of people off. Like, I will say, I think I thought about that theory for at least, like, 5 days straight on whether or not it could have actually happened.
I mean, I can see without, like, your forehead flying off your skull that, like, maybe internally your brain exploded, but the fact that, like, his whole forehead ended up, like, on the dashboard.
Yeah.
And Jackie.
Yeah. Well, like, the theory, like, it was just, like, it was building up for, like, weeks, and then suddenly it just exploded, and it's just like, the fuck? It's a fucked up theory.
Well,
It's definitely interesting. I'm gonna have to, like, Google that and see, like, how many
it.
other people, like, have thought this way.
I Googled it, there was, like, one blog post about it. And I'm like, what?
How is there only one?
If you can find more, please, like, send it to me, because I'm lost and I want to look at this more.
Absolutely. Definitely gonna have to do that now.
right. Well, I think it's that time we're gonna wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right.
Kirsten, you want to plug anything?
You got any social medias
You want to
out
plug?
there?
Well, never been asked this before. Well, on Instagram, I'm high_horizon. Facebook, Kirsten Fulman.
I'll definitely
pretty-
link your Instagram down below. So.
Yeah, go ahead. 'Cause I'm so not technology friendly.
No,
that I'm
you're
just
good.
like,
Because
I don't even know.
last week, me and Nicole were on a movie review,
Yeah.
another YouTube channel for the newest Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, they're like, "All right, plug in your stuff," and I was like, "Oh, like we froze." Like,
We both were like, because like our social medias for the podcast are kind of like all over the place, just because of like character counts per like Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, and so we have like 3 different ones, and it's just like trying to figure out which one's which.
Yeah.
And like I sent,
Yeah, I
them,
literally use Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's it.
I sent them our links to link in like their description to like help people find us, and they never linked it.
Rude.
So I'm like, ooh, a little bitter.
Oh,
Salty.
that's
Hey, you know what? We're on there. We got our name out there, so that's all that matters.
But like we
Absolutely.
said, make sure follow us on YouTube, the Spotify's,
Twitter.
the Twitter, the Instagrams, Google Podcasts.
We are on Google, yeah. We're on a lot of different podcast ones.
Yeah, thank you, Anchor, because Anchor takes care of all that shit.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Kirsten, thank you for coming on. We enjoyed this.
We hope
Of
you'll
course,
be back.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I would be so happy to come back. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
so
We
much.
would love you to
I had a
come back.
blast.
Hell yeah.
I had a blast.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You say your catchphrase?
I'm gonna say our catchphrase.
Don't goof it up.
Shut up.
No pressure.
Don't be racist. That's all. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.